When you hear of an equestrian center, horses would come to mind, and you would be right. But when Hurricane/Tropical Storm Helene was coming toward North Carolina, the Tryon International Equestrian Center jumped into action. They became one of North Carolina's emergency staging areas. This is a little bit about that story. Meet Sharon Decker, president of the Tryon Equestrian Partners. Sharon, thanks for having me out here today.
Well, thanks for coming. It's great to see you this morning.
And we're here because everybody in this area and most of the United States knows the devastation we've had because of Tropical Storm Helene.
Right.
And you here at Tryon Equestrian Properties, the Tryon International Equestrian Center in Mill Spring, North Carolina, did more than step up to the plate.
Well, I'm just so thankful we were in a position to be helpful. You know, actually, Mark, the first call came the Thursday night before the storm. And I got a call from folks in the governor's office who said they were sending swiftwater rescue personnel coming out of New York City to the property. Could we house them here, and would we be able to feed them during the storm? And of course, we immediately said yes. No question about it. We were available and willing, and we would make a way to make it happen.
And so you not only stepped up to the plate for that, but this entire place became a refuge of sorts, not for people necessarily to move in, but for people to get food and animal supplies and just what all happened here.
So what began to evolve very quickly was on Friday when the storm hit and we all began to realize the impact of it. We still had power on Friday. And so I got a call immediately again from the state that said, we're going to send medical resources that way. Can we establish a medical center at your property? They actually had done that during the World Equestrian Games in 2018. So there was some familiarity with the property. And then as the day went on Friday, we realized what the challenge was really going to be, at least beginning to grasp it as the swiftwater rescue folks began to come in Friday night. We had firsthand knowledge of how devastated the area was. And so we literally just pulled together the team and said, we've got to make something important happen here. We're in a position we can do that. Saturday morning, we got up to feed about 50 rescue workers, and the power went out.
I was thinking it went out here, yes.
So it went out Saturday morning, and in the middle of breakfast, but they still got fed. Thank goodness for gas grills. Roger still produced 50 breakfasts that morning and sent those men and women out to begin rescue Saturday morning. We also then began to look for large generators. We have 2 generators on the property, mobile generators that we can move from building to building that got Campagna and the general store open so that we could do mass meals from that location for the remainder of the weekend. And it was just a cluster of activity that just began to happen as we realized we needed to keep things moving. And we were able, Carolina Cat out of Charlotte provided us a generator to get the hotel open. A great story about this, the hotel was to open Monday, and instead it opened the day of the storm, and with a generator on that hotel, we were able to fill up 96 rooms. So the first night the hotel was open, it was an emergency refuge.
Goodness. And you weren't serving meals in the hotel?
No, we were not. We used Campagna for that purpose and just kept cycling through to get everything taken care of.
And so Campagna is one of your restaurants here on site?
It is, the Italian restaurant here, and we've got a large kitchen there where we could produce enough meals to serve. We were serving 300 to 400 people a day, emergency workers, emergency personnel across the weekend.
And I know there's a large covered arena.
Right.
And when I came out here the other day for just a walk, I saw this long line of cars.
Right.
So what was taking place there?
So we realized pretty quickly that there was a need for basic necessities, that people had lost their homes, they had no electricity, they had no power, they had no clean water, or even access to water. So many of us, of course, are on wells, so when electricity goes, we don't have access without a generator. And so we began to collect donations, and they immediately came in. We put out the word in our first Hurricane Helene newsletter, and I was just overwhelmed by the response from people that brought the product in, be it water, diapers, baby food, all kinds of things that people would need during this time, clothing, pet food. What evolved out of that was a huge effort around equine food, feed, hay, dog, cat food, chicken feed, all livestock feed, and that continues. We have ended the human distribution process, all of the products that individual families will need, because a lot of nonprofits in the area do that on an ongoing basis. We were able to distribute what we had remaining, and our volunteers and the product went to other existing agencies that can keep track of these families as they go through the recovery process. But we will continue the focus on livestock feed, on equine feed, and hay. In fact, just this morning, made an agreement with a helicopter company. Mary Adams from Red Bell Run has been coordinating this, also with Anita Williamson from our community. So they are having the large Connex boxes delivered to 30 farmers who are totally cut off still.
Wow.
Here we are, 10 days, right? Almost 2 weeks since the event, and they are going to be dropping those by helicopter into those communities. It's
fantastic.
It's amazing what's beginning to happen. It's really brought this community together, but the generosity in this community has just been overwhelming.
Well,
so grateful.
Yeah, and hopefully people can appreciate the fact that this equestrian center has stepped up to the plate more than one time for events.
Well,
not
we wanted
this
to.
type of thing, but magnitude, but certainly other, hurricanes in other part of the country.
Yes.
But send horses here. But it's not like it took you, 3 days to get up to speed. It
No.
was like you said, the night before people were moving into place.
Right. Well, it does take some time to get organized because, you've heard of situations and events like this where there's absolute chaos and it becomes not constructive, it becomes destructive, or can be. So it took us a little bit to get it together and get everything planned out. But boy, this team that we have here at the center is amazing. I'm so incredibly proud of them. Each person took a role, and from the housekeeper that had to immediately get 90-some rooms prepared and ready. We didn't have a weekend that we thought we would to get it done. They got the beds made, the bathrooms cleaned, and people in there, to the folks who carry out trash, amazing amount of refuge, that is created out of feeding people. And of course, the compactors weren't working, and trash pickup wasn't coming, so we had to create a safe place to dispose of trash. So they really rose to the challenge. So proud of them.
So when did your power come on?
Let me think. All the days are running together. We got power the following Monday.
Okay.
And, folks were upset about that in some cases. How did you get power first? Well, we are served from a transmission line. We have a substation that serves us along with a number of folks on Pea Ridge Road and immediately around it on the north and east sides of the property. So, of course, you might probably know Duke lost 2 transmission lines, 100 kV lines. So once those lines got up and the 40 kV line could be connected, we were back in business here. So it really is I spent 17 years at Duke Energy, so I remember it well. I managed customer service for them years ago. And basically, you start with the transmission lines, because then that feeds down to the smaller transmission line, 100 kV to 40 kV, and then to distribution through the substation. So
listen to you.
It's a web and a network. And so we were fortunate to be in a place to get it earlier in the process, but that allowed us to continue to serve. And we're thankful for that.
Well, and I think the people of Polk County and surrounding counties are thankful of this place as well.
Thank you.
I've seen, like I said, people are lined up by the carloads. I have no idea how many thousands.
Served over 10,000 people.
I was wondering.
Mark, and we did that with a tremendous amount of gratitude in our hearts. But I will tell you, volunteers came from all over the country. I think we counted 17 states that were represented in the volunteer group. And that's amazing. And we even had folks from Asheville that came to volunteer, and we said, why did you come here? And they said, it helps us to get out. We came here, we got a hot shower in your showers here in your lodging office, and are now volunteering for a couple of hours. So happy to do that.
Hopefully we'll never have anything like this again. But
I hope not.
If we have anything similar, I'm sure you folks will step up to the
We
plate.
will. Mark, I hope folks could see our heart in this, that
Yes,
we've got a
absolutely.
team of people here that love this community and are grateful for it.
Thank you so much, Sharon.
Thank you.
Thank you.